It's okay. Are we sure? We're going to leave this in so we can show everybody that Jerry the Master Blaster, or what's that movie with Mel Brooks, the Master Baiter? Do you remember that History of the World Part Two?
Part one. There's no part two.
Well, I was it. Didn't he purposely call it Part Two?
No, he called
it Part One.
Yeah, it's Part One.
I loved all the little puns, and I like that kind of humor. It's stupid and it's infantile and it's childish, but it's funny. I like Mel Brooks.
Yes, well, Jerry would know the movie.
You never saw the movie, Jerry?
I don't even know
You don't.
how,
You
Mel
know who
Brooks.
Mel Brooks is?
Oh my
You've never
God.
seen Young Frankenstein? You've never seen Blazing Saddles?
Oh my gosh! Oh, you know
See,
what?
this is the problem. This is the problem.
That is-
Again, it's
that
like an
is-
entire generation that has no clue.
Yeah, I mean, okay. When you get a chance, do you have Netflix at home?
Yeah.
I wonder if they have Netflix. If
It
it's
should
on
be
Netflix.
on Netflix. I can give them.
Google Young Frankenstein. Google Mel Brooks. He's one of the funniest comedians and incredibly talented too.
So there's a
Incredible.
scene in Blazing Saddles where the main character is a African American. He becomes the sheriff of this town, and they're being attacked by KKK guys, and he infiltrates them by wearing the hood. It's very, very funny. And this is in the early 70s, so we're talking about 50 years ago. They're already, it's all very, very sensitized.
Yeah, incredible comedy. Seriously,
But ultra funny. Oh my God, like I'm dying. I'm so in stitches that I can't breathe. That's how funny.
virtually everything.
Yeah.
And he also writes songs as well, and the
Yes,
songs
he's
are
a-
parody, incredible.
And married to Anne Bancroft,
Yeah, gorgeous.
who was another icon. from
Serious
that time.
MILF.
Yeah.
Wasn't she in The Graduate?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know who they originally chose for The Graduate?
No.
Doris Day.
You're kidding.
She said she wouldn't do it because it would ruin her image.
Yeah.
So Anne Bancroft at the time was basically an unknown in Hollywood, and she was a Broadway.
I remember the cover of the movie, right?
Well, it's just a leg, and then,
that was it.
and obviously the character that Dustin Hoffman plays in the book, he's this kind of tall Nordic blonde guy, and so but when Mike Nichols went to cast it, he was the best one, and he's exactly almost the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's also a really
that's
good one.
often like what audio is. That's what it turns out.
Speaking of audio, we're going to roll
we
right
have
in.
to talk about audio now.
Hey everyone, this is Adrian. That's Philip, and behind the cameras is Jerry. Jerry, wave. We're from Audio Excellence Canada. Hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I'm reminded to say to everybody, please like, subscribe, turn on notification so that YouTube will pick us up and share it around. And as usual, the money that we get, we raise and we match it and we donate to Salvation Army. So we'd like your help and comments. Add your comments at the bottom in the comment section. Today we're going to cover a tube amplifier line called Cayenne, and the model is called the CS-55A. Specifically, this amplifier, you can get it either with the EL34 or KT88 tubes, and you're switchable. So you can buy one and then later on buy the other tubes if you prefer. Let me get you some of the specs first. So the KT88 sells for $28.99 Canadian. The EL34 is $25.99 Canadian. Power rating wise, they're very similar. The KT88 is 40 watts per channel in ultra linear, 22 watts in triode. EL34 is 38 watts per channel in ultra linear, 20 watts in triode. Tube complement besides the EL34s and KT88s are two 12AU7s and two 12AX7s. You also have two RCA inputs, one moving magnet phono stage, and one USB input. There's a bias meter at the top, which is really cool. You can adjust the tubes very easily. Comes with a beautiful remote control made of aluminum, 38 pounds. Besides that, point-to-point wiring, soft start, high-quality parts, output impedance taps for either 4 or 8 ohms, and the USB input is USB 2.0 with 32-bit, 384 kilohertz, and there's a headphone amp output. Go ahead.
And also silver and black. Did you say that?
That's right. No, I didn't say that. Yeah, you have the option. Okay, Mr. Villip.
I just want to say something. I usually don't really comment on things that people have, posted on our videos, but now it's happened a couple times, and I'm really not happy about people making light of the fact that the camera adds about 100 pounds to me. All right, I'm not ashamed of who I am, and if you don't like my comments, that's fine. Those are my opinions.
Yes.
But there's no room for body shaming in any of the comments that happens. We don't try. We're very egalitarian. We're very open to all sorts, and I would never say anything about anybody based on their appearance. That's ridiculous. And if you're doing that, you're not welcome to our videos. There's no room for that, and not today's age. So that's the last I'll say about it.
Okay. Good point, Philip.
Cayenne. Again, this is from our good friend Richard. He tends to.
Well, we should say. Let me paint the picture. So we've been looking for a really good tube line or two to add to our lineup for quite a long time. And at this point, we've got the synthesis. It's a great line. We've done a couple of videos on synthesis. And then we were looking for something more affordable because synthesis starts a bit high. And then Richard says, well, you should check out the Cayenne. So he brought a couple of samples, and our friend behind the camera, Jerry, started selling all these Cayennes. I didn't even get a chance to even hear them.
No, they would come in, and they would
they're just gone. They're gone. And then I don't remember why I suddenly woke up one day and said, we should do a video on Cayenne. I think part of it is that it forces me to sit down and enjoy and listen to them. So take it away.
It's just a very nice tube amp. I wouldn't call it really tubey. It has a kind of linearity.
Do you want to talk about the background of the company a little bit? What they're famous for, other than Cayenne?
Well, they make personal audio products like little digital audio players. They make one that is got tubes in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's really nice. I have that on my desk right now. It sounds gorgeous.
Right,
and
Ian, the client, has one. He loaned it to me, and I instantly wanted to buy it.
They're not too expensive.
I instantly wanted to buy it, but then I had to remind myself, I don't really listen to headphones.
It's close to Asto and Kern,
yeah,
which we also
carry.
Promote. Yeah.
No, but I was thinking, who do they OEM for?
Oh, you would know this better than me. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Prima
really
Luna.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
The same factory.
Yeah, they make.
So we've been offered Prima Luna products, and it's an okay product.
Yeah.
It has really, on the surface, when you look at it, it has great features. But we find it maybe perhaps a little bit expensive for the sonics that it gives you. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily, but we're looking for value, and Cayenne is definitely a value statement. When you look at the piece, when you pick it up, when you turn it around, and all the features that it has, even in the remote, it's very high quality, very high value, and the sonics. That's the major thing. They actually choose a certain specific voicing for their equipment. It's not romantic. It's not bloomy at all. It's not, overly warm. There is a bit of warmth, not too much. Again, because of the flexibility of the design, because you can go between triode and ultralinear. So I'll give you an example. Jerry likes to play hip hop. He's always got an ultralinear. You have such an eclectic music taste. You probably have an ultralinear most of the time as well. And I tend to like the triode because I'm a romantic at
You're
heart.
a suck.
I'm a suck. I admit it. And but at the same time, I tend to actually listen to it mostly in ultralinear. The circuit design allows you to do the biasing directly on the amp, but it can accommodate, the circuit can accommodate both EL34s and KT88s, which is quite a nice thing. So you could buy it with EL34s, buy an extra set of KT88s, and essentially switch back and forth. They shouldn't be a problem. There's nothing objectionable about the amplifier. It does the job. It has that slightly tubey quality, beautiful mid-range. I wouldn't call it velvety smooth. It's not designed to be that way. It's designed to have a fair bit of articulation in terms of detailing for sound staging and imaging. And the top end is a little bit bright in terms of being a little bit lit up. But that is the Cayenne sound. So if you have a speaker, maybe perhaps an older speaker, that's not as clear in the top end, this would be a very good combination.
But I don't find it bright. It is a little bit tilted up.
A little bit lit up. It's a little bit energetic.
Very energetic. I love that part of it.
Yeah,
I was playing some dance music this morning.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was punching, and I was just grooving.
It doesn't sound like a 40-watt amplifier.
No.
It sounds much more powerful, which tube amps generally do.
Yeah.
So you get even a little bit more of that, and it's just got that little bit of that Pratt thing going on that most tube amps don't have, which is a really nice change up from most of the things that we have access to and that we listen to. Even the synthesis does not get as dynamic as this amplifier.
Not as ballsy. Yeah,
No,
for sure.
definitely not.
Yeah, for sure. As a matter of fact, so one of the things I purposely did was hooked it up first to the LRSs, the Magnepan LRSs, which certainly in the past we've had difficulty with a lot of other electronics. And then we found the Hegel, and it worked really well with the Hegel. And so, of course, we've been recommending Hegel with the LRS. But for clients who are looking for something a bit different, I find the Cayenne is a great combo, especially with the KT88 version. I didn't hear the EL34 version yet, but that little KT88 thing, wow.
Well, the KT8 is much more dynamic. And
really enjoy it.
Yeah, it has a bigger sound stage. It's not as intimate. It's just, for certain kinds of music, you want it to have a bit more punch, and the KT88 definitely does. That's why it remains a super popular and relevant tube.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that combo. If you consider that the LRS is hugely underpriced, hugely, it should sell for a lot more money.
They lose money on it.
Yeah, then consider that it is so good that you could easily use electronics that are way more expensive. It's
so
fantastic.
I have a client, I sold a pair of LRSs to way back on October 31st, actually. And I promised him that they would be here more or less before Christmas. I said about, it's going to take 6-8 weeks. And long story short, we ended up lending him a pair of MMGIs. That's George.
George, yes.
So George, I installed everything at his house just before Christmas. I wanted him to make sure he had music in his house for the holidays, even though there was not going to be any guests or anything like that. But he and his wife wanted to have a new system. And so he loved it. He really loved it. It sounded great in his room. And then the LRSs actually came a little bit early, and he came and picked up his LRS, brought back the MMGI. And then the next day, literally the next day, he sent me an email to say, it's really, really good. I really love this. This is, he instantly could tell that it was way better. So that's just the little LRS story.
Well, speaking of the LRSs, didn't we just get our long-awaited shipment? It's 4 months late or 3 months late. We finally got them, and all completely sold out. And we had people much lower in the queue hoping that they could jump the queue, but we have none left. But the good news is that there's another really big shipment, hopefully this time coming, should be here any day. And if everything that we ordered does arrive, we might actually have LRSs that we can finally put on our website again for sale. So if you're looking for a pair of LRSs, watch out on our online store. Jerry will put a link in terms of where you can go and check it out, along with other Magnepans that we've been totally sold out on.
So that gratuity that we sent Wendell worked? Is that what you're saying?
He doesn't care. The guy is rich. He doesn't care.
Mr. Diller, we love you.
Actually, speaking of that, I should reach out to him. He made a suggestion that we should do a virtual video with him to explain some of the challenges that they've been having with the LRSs, and also at the same time, I want to get an update about the mini, the 30.7
30.1s, the 30.7s for
the mini for the condos.
For the condos.
Yeah, in case you haven't seen or heard, we did a video.
Yeah, we did a video.
Yeah, again, Jerry will link the video in the description box as well, so you can check it out in terms of what we're talking about. But yeah, I should. Follow up with him.
We still have people asking about that.
I know that if they can get that speaker out at a real decent price, that should really be hotcakes. Yeah, it should sell like hotcakes.
It's one of the best things I ever heard.
That's great.
I mean, it was really pretty spectacular.
You need power though.
He had that custom amp.
Yeah.
For it,
you need power.
Yeah, any Magnepan you really want to have anywhere between 200 to 500 watts.
Yeah. Well, that one, especially because it's so good, you want good power with that thing.
Yeah, you didn't get to see it, Jerry, but...
Jerry didn't see it?
He wasn't here.
This was before his time?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's been over a year?
Yeah.
Jerry's been with us for a year.
Almost.
This has been over a year. For some reason, I don't think it has been that long.
It's been about maybe 18 months, 20 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
He came with his wife.
That's right.
Do you remember that? They drove all the way from Minneapolis in a minivan, right? And in the back of the minivan, there are these custom crates. And this Wendell's got to be in his early 70s, I think.
He's a very hardy
fit. He's like a
but
drill
spry
sergeant.
And,
Oh yeah, incredibly fit. He just hops out of the minivan like nothing. Starts grabbing the handles of these crates that weigh a ton. He just pulls them out, and his wife was helping him.
Of course, she helps him schlep the things in. Yeah.
And meanwhile, Jay was standing around like he doesn't want to be involved.
Well, Jay's not that fit. Sorry, but I mean, he's slim, but he doesn't eat well, and he doesn't work out. So, not that I work out, but
this is bringing back a lot of great memories. That was a really good time we had with
Jerry. You can't edit this out because this is gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, getting back to...
Well, tube amps will generally do well with difficult loads like Magnepans. Tube amps have transformers, output transformers, and that mitigates some of the impedance mismatches that you might get with directly driven devices such as transistor amps.
Yeah.
Because a transistor actually will react to the impedance that it's trying to push power into. Tube amps and Macintosh transistor amps with output transformers, they don't have this issue. They're driving the transformer directly. The transformer is matching to the impedance load that it is presented into that circuit.
So I'm curious, given that we both like it so much, and because you are much more involved on a day-to-day basis with what's out there than I am, can you think of any other brand of tube electronics sort of in this price range that you think, and you've heard, that you think would be comparable, so that our viewers don't think that we're always just talking about our own?
No, we brought in and we sold a few pieces for our friend Bernard, who is Charisma Audio, and he brings in Audio Space. And I like that brand, and the amplifiers sound fine. They're a little bit more expensive than the Cayenne. They aspire to much greater heights in terms of the audiophile cred that they're trying to build. So if you look at their website, they have a couple entry-level amps, and then everything else is,
all the way up there.
Yeah, all the way up there. So it wasn't exactly a really perfect fit for us.
Well, who else can you think of as products out there, so our viewers can maybe even look at?
I mean, in the States, you can get Rogue. Rogue has a really good reputation, but it's another one of those brands where I've heard it, and I do like it. I mean, it's hard not to like, but at the same time, you're looking for value, and ultimately, you're looking for.
We had some traded in.
They do. They're immensely popular.
Yeah.
They have really good reputation, and they have really good reviews out there. That certainly helps when you're trying to promote something that is on a consignment basis here, because we normally don't deal with it. It's a nice brand. There's nothing that I can say that's terrible about it. It's just, I mean, I just kind of all, like I'm not really complimenting it. I'm trying to.
Well, so my experience with the Rogue when it came in was I thought it was competent, but I wasn't taken by it. And then considering that we were selling it for less than half of the selling price, I still wasn't taken by it.
So this is the disconnect between what reviewers are hearing and what we hear every day in the store. So my experience with the Rogue is that I'm impressed with the way it's built, and it seems to have all the right bits, but somewhat like the Prima Luna, which a lot of people like, okay? So it's got, the Rogue has gotten very good reviews, but I've never found it to be captivating. It's competent, but I was expecting more. And maybe that's not a good thing when you expect more of something, then your expectations are difficult to meet. But certainly with the Rogue, that was the case. And I find that same with Prima Luna for the most part. It's not to say that some people will not really like it. Some people really, really like it, and that's perfectly fine. But for us, we're just trying to find. I mean, you've been through it. You've seen everything come through the store, and we're just trying to find the best value. And it's not just about, strictly speaking, the sonics, because a lot of it is comparable. But let me put it to you this way: the CS-55 is $2,600 as the basic setup, and it's very flexible, and it sounds really modern, but still, it is a tube amp, and so it has the strengths of classic tube amps, but with the modernity of what we consider to be high-end audio these days. So for that entry price, it's a winner.
Yeah, I virtually completely agree. When we were first asked to consider it, I wasn't sure what to expect. I hadn't done a lot of reading or anything about Cayenne other than the fact that I sort of thought that maybe that was the company that made the products for Prima Luna, and that was pretty much all I remembered. And then when I did get a chance finally to hear it a little while back, and then of course recently, I am very impressed by it, much more so than I thought I would be. And maybe it's because I didn't expect that much from it, rightly or wrongly. It just really
just the fit and finish. Excuse me, the fit and finish on it is quite impressive at that price point. You look at it and it looks like a luxurious product. And, they've learned their lessons. They've been in the marketplace a long time.
A long time, yeah.
The only other manufacturer that I can think of that might be close to it is Zindac, but that's not represented here. In Europe, it's called Audrio.
Didn't Richard used to bring Zindac in as well?
No, my friend George did.
Oh, okay.
He brought that in. And it had some exposure, but they make a lot of different stuff. They actually operate in a couple of different factories. But always the issue with Zindac was that, the name is not great. And then the way it looked and the fit and finish, competent, but not, it's not as good as something like the Cayenne is. When you look at the Cayenne, you can tell immediately that this is a premium product, and it's not priced that way, even though I guess some people would consider $2,000 to $3,000 expensive.
Not
it
cheap,
really
yeah.
isn't in this category.
You know what I like about it too, is that everything that you touch feels luxurious.
Yes,
Everything.
yes.
Everything that you see is luxurious. So, for example, way, way, way back when Prima Luna first became available in North America, I was a dealer in Canada. In fact, I think we were the first dealer in Canada. And I like the fact that the cage, because remember how tube amps with cages, typically you got to take out the screwdriver, you got to undo a bunch of bolts and so on. It's a bit of a pain. And here was this thing that basically had, if you can imagine, banana connectors on your speaker cables. It just pushes in. And I thought, genius. What a simple little innovation that was so smart. Just push it in and it's in. Pull it out, boom, it's done. And now you have access to all the biasing and so on. It was such a great idea. And the way that they coat their chassis is really nice. It's got this beautiful, almost liquid kind of a feel to it. The volume control has a nice, solid feel. I really like it.
Yeah, you can't help but be impressed on the first kind of
First impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess for both of us, this is a big thumbs up. At least I like it
thumbs
very
up.
much.
And especially because Jerry loves it. I mean, he really likes it. So
Yeah, yeah. Jerry, as soon as the stock comes in, he immediately tries to sell it and get rid of it. Something that he doesn't like, I think. That's why he wants to get rid of it.
I like it. Sounds great.
Anyway, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give us a thumbs up anyway. You'll help us with the
if you're
algorithm.
not a subscriber, please subscribe.
Yes, and put your comments and so on. If we can help you, we'll try. And we'll see you the next time. Adrian from Audio Excellence Canada, Philip, and Jerry behind the camera. Bye-bye.